Hey everybody, it's Jorik. Welcome back to Portugal and Beyond. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today's topic is about Portugal, and for those of you that are looking to come here and visit or thinking about moving here, I want to talk about a subject that doesn't get touched on much, but I think is worth hitting on, especially if you're thinking about spending more time here in Portugal in years to come, and that is a drought that they've been experiencing. There are several news articles that have been written locally or regionally about what's happening here, but it's been going on for decades as they've been tracking things. Things have been getting worse, and wherever you live in the world, you may be saying, well, it's happening here too, which in many parts of the world it is. But it is really impacting agriculture, food and wine production, prices of food and wine and things that get produced here in Portugal because of the severe drought that's going on in many parts, the lack of proper irrigation, things that are coming up recently that they're talking about limiting, I'll say discretionary places like golf courses that, yes, people like to golf on green grass, but some of those golf courses may experience some cutbacks to water as they're trying to make sure that enough vegetation gets watered, not just for consumers, but also out in the wild. They have had here over recent memory some really bad wildfires that have impacted, people have lost lives, but also have taken acreage of land, and which once was vibrant with vegetation is nothing. So there's something that if you are hiking and biking and cycling outside of, let's say, Lisbon and Porto, being mindful of what you're doing. When you're camping, just being responsible about where you're camping and making sure that if you have a fire that it is totally put out so that doesn't create an issue. We moved here from Arizona, and in the United States, in Arizona, because of the dry climate, wildfires are a common occurrence, and they often go sometimes days or weeks without being contained. And back there have been some that tragically have taken lives in recent years. So we're very aware when we get out of the city here in Lisbon of if we're hiking or cycling or camping, that we're very mindful and respectful to make sure that we're not going to create more harm than good when it comes to enjoying this amazing country. I will say, even in the Azores and Madeira, that is a top place to go hiking and really experience nature when you're outside the mainland. They still have issues, not like the mainland does, because being surrounded by water, they get different climate and more precipitation, but they're also feeling some of the impacts of what's going on. But as you read, and I'm going to put a couple of links into some recent news articles that are going to be in the description box for you to look at, but it's something to contemplate when you read those and think about moving here or coming for a short visit. Just be respectful and be mindful of the lay of the land and where you are. I will say, as much as we live in Lisbon, some of the best parts of Portugal are not in Lisbon. They're outside in the countryside, in the mountain ranges bordering Spain. Once you get out of, I'll say, Lisbon and Porto, and to some degree the Algarve. Algarve has amazing beaches and rock formations, so I can't say that that's not a place to go, that is. But when you get into the countryside, you get closer to Spain, Portugal, you get that authentic experience that maybe many of you want, as opposed to Lisbon and Porto, which is, there's more expats, more foreigners like us here, especially in the city centers. But as you get away and explore, you'll really come to appreciate how cool and how great Portugal is. Also, from practical matter, if you have bicycles and you're cycling through the countryside, you're not dealing with as much traffic as you are in the cities, so you can actually enjoy it more without having to necessarily worry about all the cars going by. When you're hiking, there are many trails that you can take that are published that you can do even in and around the countryside near Lisbon or north and south of Porto into the Douro Valley that are worth taking advantage of. But as you observe, as you take in, as you take photos from these amazing places in Portugal, I just think it's worth being mindful that if you're camping, if you're outside, putting your trash away, making sure that your fires are completely put out, or not throwing anything away that might start a fire that's going to create situations. Because not only do we have the drought, which ecologically that's a bigger issue, but the things that we can focus on are the wildfires and things that are human-made. Portugal does not have the resources at the moment to hire hundreds or thousands of firefighters, not just to handle municipal issues, but I would call them in the US hotshots, so firefighters that their main job is to handle wildfires or forest fires and how to manage those specifically, as opposed to, let's say, an apartment fire in a city. There's a specific niche for that and a skill set. So just Portugal does not have the resources to be able to put into these specific places to make sure and help manage things. So it's, I think, on our part as stewards of living here, whether you're a tourist, whether you're a foreigner like me, or you're a local, to make sure that you're taking care of the land, to make sure that for future generations, people can enjoy it. And hopefully there will be ways to help with irrigation and water so that the water supply is good and clean, and we'll be able to take care of vegetation for decades to come. And then also from the fire perspective, hoping that if there are wildfires, which are never good, that they are not human made, they're part of an act of nature, if you will. And again, that's not good either, but hopefully those are more contained than someone that throws out a cigarette butt and then that creates a lot of damage and potentially loss of life. So that's a more sobering video. It's not one I traditionally make on my channel, but I thought it was worth giving you this information and give you something to think about and a point to ponder as you are traveling to or looking to move to Portugal. So as always, have a great day and enjoy your travels.